This is a 12-volt linear actuator with a 6-inch throw and a 300-pound capacity. I was sent this to review for free. If you wanted to purchase it, it would cost you $45. They have not paid me for my review, and my opinion remains my own. So in the box, you get the linear actuator itself. It has the motor up here, plus and minus for just a DC 12-volt motor there. And then this guy here moves in and out. It also comes with some mounting hardware and instructions and a switch. And then this here is some more mounting brackets and hardware. So these guys here will link up so you have basically hinge points for whatever this guy's moving around. And so if you don't already have a position where you already have brackets and so forth, this guy comes with brackets that you can put in, as well as some pins and some cotter pins to go through these places. It's kind of a nice touch here. They also include 4 more little push-on connectors to hook into the switch here. So it looks like they give you more connectors than you really need. So they give you 4 connectors here, but the wire already has 2 connectors on it. So you can hook this guy up to the switch without having to crimp anything. And then you use 2 of these connectors to hook these guys to your 12-volt power supply. And I guess if your battery also has those same, it looks like about 1/4-inch edge connectors, you could use 2 of these on the batteries. Now the switch does come with a little waterproof rubber boot that you can hook on here and screw down to make it somewhat watertight through like a bulkhead, for example. And this switch is normally off, and then it has 2 positions and it springs back to the off position. So if you're using the switch to control this, you're going to have to hold the switch until the motion is as far along as you want, and then let go of it. Right, so material-wise, this guy's non-magnetic. This guy here is non-magnetic, including these things here. Now the screws are definitely ferrous. The motor, I'm not sure if it's the permanent magnets inside the motor or if there's just ferrous metal in there, but definitely sticking to the motor. These brackets they give you here, very ferrous, the magnet sticks to them quite well. So a lot of this guy is aluminum or stainless. I'm not sure if that's stainless or aluminum. It's probably aluminum, but there are metal parts on it that could rust, like the hardware specifically, like the screws. So I've set my bench power supply to 13.8 volts. That's kind of a reasonable approximation of a 12-volt battery. This guy says it has a 4-amp draw. I'm assuming that's when it's under load. So let's see what the draw is with no load. So it looks like about a 1-amp draw with no load. They say it'll automatically turn off when it reaches the maximum extension, so let's test that. Yes, it did turn off when it reached the maximum extension. So let's pull it back and see how long it takes to go all the way back in. Looked like the draw coming in was a little lower. I was seeing like 0.6, 0.7 amps. I'm going to go back out and look at the draw going out again. Yeah, going out is down at 0.75 amps. Let's go back in. It's 0.66. Yeah, so for whatever reason, it seems to take just slightly less power pulling in than pushing out. Okay. It's totally not OSHA approved. I am very precariously balancing. Okay, I'm going to attempt to precariously balance on top of this guy and then use it to raise my 200-pound weight. Alright, that was mostly working until I lost my balance. So I'm going to say it'll do 200 pounds. Probably will do 300. It didn't look like it was straining or anything there. Alright, fully extended tip to tip is about 17 inches. I think the 16-inch fully extended is from the hole to the hole. Alright, so fully retracted, tip to tip's about 11 inches. Hole to hole is 10 inches. So this is a 1/4 inch drill bit going through that hole, so it's just slightly bigger than a 1/4 inch outside diameter, or I guess inside diameter for these holes. But a 1/4 inch pin or bolt will go through very nicely. Alright, so I put this guy through its paces. It pretty much met all its specifications. I only was able to test about 200 pounds on it, but it didn't have any sounds of struggling or slowing down at 200 pounds, so I think it could probably do 330 pounds. I was just counting seconds in my head, so I got more like 8 millimeters a second, but maybe I was just counting a little slow there. The amp draw was about 1 amp, no load, a little bit less depending if you're going in or out. I didn't look at the amp draw while I was standing on it, but my bench power supply doesn't go above 3 amps, and it didn't seem to slow down, didn't seem to phase it, so I think, a max load of 4 amps, even under full weight, is probably accurate. There's some steel hardware here and there, so it's not 100% rust-free, but at this price point, I don't think you can expect it to be, marine rated, really. And the package is very complete. It includes pretty much everything you need to mount this guy with, the switch up-down little control panel, all the pins, some extra wire things to hook up to your battery. So pretty much all you're providing is the cables between this switch and your battery, maybe some, a crimper to crimp these on there. And if you need this cable to be longer, it's just 2 wires. You can just extend those 2 wires. So at this price point, I'm pretty happy with that kit. Now, I can't really talk about longevity, what the lifetime is going to be, what the wear is going to be, but out of the box, it looks like it's working really well.